like if you're walking towards Lake Street, all the streets going to Lake Street and nearby, they're all blocked off with concrete curbs and fences, so you couldn't get through. But there's people going through and driving, pushing them out of the way and driving through. And once you start getting within a couple hundred feet of all of Lake Street, you can just see the whole sky lit up with orange, huge bonfires in random spots, small ones, big ones. If you get closer, you realize there are buildings, there's cars in the middle of intersections all lit on fire. There's fireworks going off everywhere. There's like cars of people hanging out the back, running around, just like doing crazy stuff. And once you start getting towards where the police precinct was and everything else was on fire, it was nuts. The crowd was like, you just feel the energy in the air. There's fireworks going off and people are chanting, and they crashed mail vans through the gate of the police precinct, ripped them all down, burned them in the middle of the lawn there, and then they built the stage.
So they hijacked mail vans from the post office,
yes,
and then rammed them into the building.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
And then they took down all the police barricades, and they put them all in a big pile on like the lobby floor, and like set it all on fire. And they're bringing mattresses and window board coverings. And
you initially showed up just out of curiosity.
Just kind of like experience a little bit of history and kind of see the excitement. And I got sucked in.
Right.
And like people are trying to like on ladders, on human ladders, just trying to like break in windows and climb through, throw Molotovs through, just trying to set it on fire from the inside. Then out of nowhere, it's like this black truck pulls up and this guy hops out of the driver's side.
This is at the third
precinct. The police station.
Right.
Like at the back door, it's literally.
And by the way, I can't think of an example ever, maybe in United States history, of police just abandoning a police precinct building like that.
It surprised me too. It literally surprised me too, because earlier that day I saw on the news they were like getting water bottles thrown at them, but like, and they have SWAT shields, this big ring around it, and I see a fence, and then I show up later at the precinct, and then I'm like, is this the right building?
Right.
It's like half on fire with people hanging out the windows or trying to get inside, and it was, oh yeah, and so at the back door they're trying to kick it down and swing sledgehammers in it, trying to break it down and get inside. And this guy pulls up in his truck, hops out as calmly as anybody could. He just pulls out this is AK-47, the huge banana clip, and just blasts, empties like half a clip into the lock and blows the doors open, and then just hops in his truck and leaves. The most casual, nonchalant American thing I've seen, I swear. And then it's like there's like a whole crowd by then because they're trying.
That sounds like a movie scene.
Yeah, it did. And there's a whole crowd trying to break in the back doors because they're two wide metal doors. So it's pretty good, trying to pop hinges off. And then once the doors are open, it's mayhem because you just see bodies rushing in. Some go to the basement, some go up top, some go this way, some go that way. All like the 3 or 4 people went to like the main lobby area where they were at. They were like, "It's open, come inside!" And everyone starts coming in from like all over the place, opening doors to other directions, and they start taking cardboard and boxes from the main fires and like bringing them around, burning to other places, like try to set the whole building on fire. Somebody soon after the doors are open, somebody set the whole 3rd floor on fire, and it was too thick with smoke. Everyone had to get out eventually because the smoke was so thick you couldn't see about 1.5 feet in front of your face. It was white after that. Anybody with like coronavirus masks on, if they're up there for like 30 seconds, when the smoke would come out, that mask would be black, exactly where the mouth was, just inhaling soup. And this one lady actually almost got like really messed up from smoke inhalation up on the 3rd floor because her mask was off and she didn't even know. She was dizzy, stumbling around like, help, 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 and no one could find her. And like,
so she was crying. So you heard somebody like off in the distance crying for help?
No, so somebody else had heard it. And they were like running around the building like, yo, we need help, somebody's up there, we can't find her, we can't get her out. Right. So I was like, sure, I'll go help. I found her in that exact opposite corner where the door was, like stumbling around, trying to look, this maze of, so like literally like there's all these cubicles, this wide open like living room style area. It's huge, just goes way far back, and it's all the square box like exact identical looking cubicles, and some dead end here, some dead end there, and like it was bad. You couldn't see anything.
And you had some fire training, you said, right?
Yeah. I covered my mouth. I was like, I had to kick some doors down. Like, I had to figure out where I was, but I found her eventually. But I was using my hoodie as a coronavirus mask to keep the suit away. And when I pulled it down after I got out, there was like a perfect circle of black. It was like black. It was a dark purple hoodie, and there's like this black patch right here on my neck now from breathing through it. Her whole mask was black. It looked like she was wearing a black corona mask, but you could see on the inside it was blue. But like there's nothing on the outside. It was bad. It was super thick, like burning electricity, like wires, like burning clothes and carpet. It was foul smoke.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you pulled her out?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I didn't carry her out, but like I helped her like down the stairs, like 2 arms, because she was like literally using my weight for support because she was like super dizzy. Like she almost like fell when I found her, and she didn't even know I was there for a second. She was like out of it. But once she got outside, she could kind of walk and stand on her own. It's like, you okay, ma'am? Like, you want some help? There's some EMT medics over here. She's like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. She found her brother, and so, you know, kind of saved her life. I felt was pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
Even with all the negativity and the tension going on, there was a lot of good acts of people being like kind to each other. Like down the street, there'd be some rioters like throwing Molotovs in their storefront. Well, like they're like a couple feet away. There's a person with like glass cuts on their feet being bandaged up by volunteers, and there's people like pulling others out of like places about to go down because they were trying to loot the liquor store while it was on fire. And I believe actually one person got trapped in the basement and died. But people were in there while it was burning, trying to get liquor cases. And people
This is the liquor store right across the street from the police
precinct,
building.
literally
Yeah.
right across the street, and they were getting pulled out by people like dragging them out, like kicking and screaming, like, you're gonna fucking die, dude, like you gotta get out now. And it was insane because we all found out about the person in the basement too late, because we found out and it was like you couldn't even be 10 feet away from the fire. Your face was getting burned. We're taking cases of water, trying to throw it, trying to make a pathway through, but they just like evaporate as soon as they hit the air. It was done. And then so there's the liquor store burning, next to the precinct burning, and then 2 buildings down, turn a corner, there's an Arby's burning, and people were like taking curly fries from the freezer and like cooking fries on the burning Arby's shell fire.
And you said that like certain people were like cooking food on burning cars and stuff.
Yeah, they had like little cookouts, kind of like trash fires. They had a whole car burning, and they was like cooking like marshmallows. I think only for like the video, you know, but
Oh,
still,
okay. Yeah.
you know, because they had their phones out, like just you know cooking marshmallows on a burning.
That would be a good new cooking show.
I think it would be too, honestly. Riot cooking. Oh yeah, and honestly, I wasn't really prepared to like really get involved in any of the chaos when I went. I was kind of wanting to be like an outside observer, but I witnessed a lot of really messed up ways that police were going about just like handling the crisis. They're handling it in the like most opposite way to like handle those situations without creating tension. Because there are people getting pulled over for no reason past curfew, and they'd be like dragged out of their cars, like thrown onto the ground roughly. They'd be like cuffed like quickly and like roughly and like tossed in the back of a police car. They'd park their car on the side of the road, leave it with the keys in it. They'd slash their tires and break their windows.
The police slashed the tires in the windows.
Just for being past curfew. Just for being past curfew. Just for that. There were these
Without even questioning them, asking them, maybe there was
Nope.
some kind of innocent bystander or something. They didn't care.
Literally, nope. Get out of the car right now. Hands out the window. Drag them, pull them out of the car, throw them down. And it wouldn't be just like one officer. It'd be like 3 cars like back to back to back, full of officers, and they just like swarm this like whatever poor soul they chose to like mess with. And even people like in their houses. Like I'm sure you guys saw that video of like people being shot at when on the porch, like bullets of like the rubber ones.
Right.
They're like filming the police walking by in a V, and like the whole squad turns to the house, and the chief is like, light them up, and they start shooting at them on their porch in their house past curfew. And there was also
on their own like property.
Yes, literally open the door with the camera to take a video, and then like, oh, go back inside. Like they're literally shooting at them. And there was so many instances where like parked cars like in the street, like a suburban neighborhood, too close to Lake Street or to where like rioting was. If like your car was there outside your house, they tow the ones at the very ends of the streets. They'd like literally tow any random car, and they'd slash the tires of all the other ones so they couldn't go anywhere. There are those, I forget what tools, those parking tools, like the sharp edge something or other car tool. They take it around it, and the tires, next one, just pop all the outside ones so the car couldn't drive away. For literally no reason.
That's wild.
And I'm watching, I've saw multiple instances of all this walking towards like the rioting and the excitement. It wasn't even like, I didn't even watching any videos. I was just walking, trying to be an observer, and I just saw this with my own eyes, and like no one cared. Well, the protesters cared, but like the cops would always do it when there was like no people around.
So you didn't like consider yourself a protester?
I was wanting to kind of just like piggyback on and just kind of like, you know, see some of history being made, you know, good and bad. But all I saw was honestly some really messed up stuff by like authority figures, and that really kind of got me upset. So
And you said there were some fights among the protesters and stuff.
Yep, there'd be some protesters be yelling like, "Go away!" Like they'd be yelling one thing, some be yelling something others, and there'd be altercations every once in a while. Like there'd be or like storefront owners defending their property. Someone's trying to
Like what happened?
break
Like
a
what did you
window.
see with that with the storefront with the store owners?
Well, there's a corner liquor store, and it had some people trying to like smash through. It was like a yellow corner building. Someone's trying to like a group of 3 or 4 guys are trying to break in and steal stuff, and the store owners like were out and like right in front of the door with guns, like, no, don't you come here, like we're gonna shoot you. Like in the streets of Minneapolis, like traffic's going by, these guys with like ARs standing there, like, no, and like a shotgun, like, no, you're not gonna come in here at all. Trying to break windows and steal our stuff, like, no, it's my.
And who were the
life.
store owners doing that? Could you tell were they white, black, everything? Did it?
Actually, the people, the rioters trying to break in and steal stuff, there's all a group of white males, and there's an evenly mixed amount of like of colors, like defending like the store, like owning property. I don't know who owned it, but there was there's a couple darker guys and a couple like white guys, just hanging out, like just like defending, their buddy's store, like their store.
So the people trying to break in were a group of white guys.
Yeah, most actually of the arsonists and rioters were mostly white males.
Because that's interesting. Because a lot of people assume, it's like a race riot or something, meaning the blacks are the ones instigating all the violence or something like that.
No, honestly, I saw very little to no instances where anyone of not white skin were causing any problems. It's always young white males with bandanas over their masks and hats on, running around with Molotovs, with cans of gas, literally lighting stuff on fire. Everyone everywhere's looting, because if you walk by, look inside a Target and you just saw a bunch of shoes sitting on there and fires burning everywhere and no police there. Sure, get some free stuff.
Yeah, walk right in. Why not?
Yeah, but I saw no instances. I see people rioting, and then I see a group of white guys show up, and they start burning shit.
Right.
Doesn't matter
so they
what it was.
escalated more to the point of arson.
Definitely, they're store owners, always stopping altercations with a bunch of white males. Just using. I feel like it seemed like they were using that chance to cause some damage and just kind of go crazy. Have a weekend's fun, whatever.
Could you
Piggybacking
tell,
off of it.
aside from being white males, could you get a sense of who they were, what they were motivated by? Did they seem like they had a political or ideological motive or something like that? Because a lot of them, they spray paint the anarchist symbol on stuff. Was it that kind of vibe, or what did you perceive?
I definitely got the anarchist vibe, because they'd be in jeans, dark backpacks, backwards, football, baseball caps, colored bandanas, kind of making themselves want to stand out. And they some would have sunglasses too, even though it was night most of the time.
Right.
Just kind of like that. It was very much piggybacking off of the fact there were no police around and no one told them to stop. So they chose to burn a lot. And also when I was in jail, there were some guys that said, yeah, we could be all peacefully looting this shoe source, no one causing any problems, getting buckets of shoes.
Right.
And two young white kids from college show up with a propane tank, smash the top off, the top of it off, right there with everyone inside, light the end of it on fire with a torch, kick it in and run away and go to 2 different places.
So once a shoe store or some kind of a clothing store had been looted.
Not even, it wouldn't even be looted yet. They'd show up, literally smash the end of it off with a hammer of a whole propane tank this big, take a torch, light it on fire, and then they kick that whole lit thing into the store just to just to burn it down. And then they'd leave that and then go somewhere else to do it.
Yeah. And then they went all around the city doing that.
For the pure sake of destruction, yeah. And it was a bummer, because I really believe the protesting is it's an American right to do that, or something like that's really unfair. But people piggybacking off of chances, off of that to just do it for unnecessary destruction and violence is kind of
And there's also the irony of a lot of it happening to black-owned businesses or owned by other minorities, immigrants like Somalis, that kind of thing. And yet it's supposedly about Black Lives Matter or whatever, right?
It was kind of interesting, because there were a lot of people smashing windows of places that people were smart. They actually put up boards on the insides of the windows, and they'd spray paint ethnic store owner,
black owned store, minority owned.
And I honestly, every single place that had those signs, I did not see them torched or windows broken. I mean, of course there were probably many that still had.
Well, there were some.
Owners.
I know for a fact that there were some that did get burned, but maybe that did have an effect, like around the margins, you know.
I think after the first couple of stores were burned is probably when like they started putting that up, and also like there'd be groups like hanging nearby storefronts of their friends, and like if they saw someone like with like intent to like cause destruction go that way, they'd like chase them off. Literally, I saw this group of like 2 guys like run up with like a little flaming Molotov cocktail in their hand and go push it through a window.
White guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I couldn't tell. It was a little dark, and they had like black bandanas on. They go to throw it into the window, and this guy like really smacks out of their hands like, "Get out of here, you punk asses!" It's like, this is an ethnic-owned store. Fuck you. And like, there's a big guy. They got in their face, and they like got all scared and took off. But you know,
What kind of store was it? You know.
it was literally like empty. It was like cleaned out. It looked just like an empty white like big room. Everything was just moved out of it apparently, and like they went to go just like throw something in there just to hopefully catch it on fire. Even though it was attached to the liquor store. It was a liquor store, a skinny attached building, and then this store, whatever it was. Like someone's trying to like Molotov cocktail that too. I think it was because it was already gonna burn, so it's like I think they wanted to like make a statement, but not too big of a statement.
Right.
I don't know.
And then, so you basically spent the night in the precinct building.
Yes, I did. I was quite inebriated, and I'd gotten left actually from my friends who went there with me because my phone died, and I couldn't find them before it died. So I was in a pretty unknown city to me with a lot of action going on and nowhere to go. So
Because you live like in a suburb of Minneapolis.
I live in Burnsville.
Right.
Yeah, I live pretty outside of it. So and I'm not from the state either, so I'm kind of new. And so I was like, I only know this area I've walked around in so far. And so after like the night we're on, I was inside just like checking stuff out, looking at all the damage and seeing what, like there's water damage on the floor of the precinct. There's surprisingly little, like once everyone rushed inside for the initial, after the doors were initially opened, like the fire was set, it got too smoky and everyone just kind of left. And like the crowd kind of thinned out and kind of moved to like down the street a little bit. So there's almost no one over there around 4 o'clock in the morning. And I took a nap in one of the beds in the precinct on the basement floor. There's almost no smoke.
Right.
And so I fell asleep, and then I woke up in the morning to kind of go walk around and check the damages again. And then I was in the basement kind of looking at all the water on the floor, and there's all the lockers are ripped open, and there's like ammo and like tactical vests and helmets and radios and billy clubs and some random police stuff and paperwork everywhere. And I was just like looking through it, like picking up like garbage, like valuable things. I was like, well, you went through all that effort to like go into this place and destroy this, you could just also brought it with you. It was like this like expensive police scanner. It was like super vintage too. I could just tell. It was just like literally just the whole walkie part was just ripped off of it, and like just lying next to it in a puddle of water.
And how do you end up getting arrested?
Oh well, I was in the basement doing that, and then 2 officers literally walked inside the basement. They were like, "Excuse me, sir, are you a police officer?" Because I had a SWAT vest on and a police helmet, but I also had like my swim trunks on and my Crocs, and it was still kind of wet in there. But I was like, nope. And then I turned around and kept walking to the basement, and like, you know, looking for other cool stuff to look at, but you know, panicking also because I was like, oh fuck, the police found me.
Right.
You know, but honestly, I felt like I had no choice because I didn't want to walk the streets all night because like there's gonna be cops all around. Like eventually, I had suit all over my face from the fires and all the excitement. And I was like, definitely looked like a hoodlum, so I wanna get in that possible chance. So then I sleep in a burning police station. And, I mean,
Hey, you ever sleep in a burning police station before?
yeah, well, once.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, I wasn't thinking very clearly. Very intoxicated, you know. It had a bed, so that was like the defining point. I just found a bed, no smoke in it because it's a sealed door. There's a case of soda, and I was thirsty, so I just kind of chugged a soda and then crashed out for a couple hours.
And then, so they bring you to jail, and they charge you with what?
I got charged with burglary and with rioting because I had suit over my face and I had like police clothing on. They're like, obviously you were obviously you were rioting, because I had gear on from the police station, but I hadn't left yet. Like, charged with
Do you
burglary.
consider yourself like a rioter? Like, do you say to yourself, oh yeah, I guess I was rioting, or not? Like, how do you...
I mean, at first no, but after like saw some like messed up stuff and like got in the moment, I probably say I probably was a little bit. But I didn't like breaking any like places that weren't already broken into. I just walked in through the open door, like the Target, for instance. I was walking over there and I saw like a bunch of water going on in there and all the doors are open, so I just kind of walk inside and go check out just to see what's going on. There's like 6 inches of water flooding the floor everywhere. There's about like 20 to 30 people inside the pharmacy, like trying to use crowbars to break open the like oxycodones and like the painkillers and the Percocet cabinets, because those are good money on the streets. It's like street value. Because I asked them, I was like, hey, what are you guys going for? You know, I was out of curiosity, like, yeah, Percocets, downers, you know, like just popular party drugs, like the streets, you know, trying to make bank. And like everything clothing wise is gone, everything's flooded and wet, but there's like all the health food sections are like untouched. There's like Cliff Bars and there's random.
They didn't take the health food.
There's like Cliff Bars and like a picnic basket here and like 40,000 coat hangers here. It was like just certain stuff just wasn't touched. Everything else was stripped clean. Shelves knocked over. People were throwing beer cans, and not beer cans, but soda cans up into the roof tiles because they go up and you couldn't see where they went and like pop out the other end somewhere in the store because you could throw it like really hard and just go right to the ceiling. There was someone lit a not Roman candle, but a Molotov cocktail, and they threw it up into the rafters and started a fire in like the children's section. It went out pretty quick because the water was still going in that area, but.
And everybody that you saw throw some kind of Molotov cocktail or another flammable device.
Those are pretty rare. It's only like select few like people who do that, and they usually have like a backpack, and they're like.
But they were all these kind of these whites with the whole gear, like mask and gear on.
With like the how to blow up YouTube recipe pack, you know, like, gasoline and beer bottles and liquor bottles and stuff. But honestly, I did not see too many like Molotov cocktail throwers, but I saw a lot more with like cans of gas, especially at the police precinct because they're trying to break in. They were like lighting the sides of it on fire, trying to shove burning objects through the window holes of the metal grates. It was very interesting because it was like all very condensed locations where there were fires at. Like it was almost like one fire started here, and then everyone in that area was drawn to it, and like they spread more fires from that area on. It was like
so in terms of the people who were lighting the fires, did like how they were acting give you the impression that it was like a coordinated thing, that it was concerted, that there was some kind of plan behind it? Or was it just total chaos?
Honestly, it felt a whole lot more like monkey see, monkey do, you know? Like some, person got home from work and they saw someone throwing, or they probably heard the word Molotov cocktail on television and was like, what was that? Molotov cocktail. Oh shit, that looks cool. There are no police in this area, everyone's doing it anyways, I'm gonna go do this too, you know? Kind of like get their keg stand of the weekend type thing, you know?
Yeah. So then you're in jail for like 5 days. What are the people in jail talking about? How are they interpreting what went on?
It's actually very, very crappy in there because you only get an hour outside of your cell because of coronavirus. You spent 23 hours locked down in your cell.
So it's basically solitary confinement.
Yes, but there's like 4 or 5 guys let out every hour for like your phone call and there weren't any books or anything. Honestly, you barely get a pen and paper and toilet paper, but. Like whenever the guys were out, it's mostly all like looters and rioters, people getting like arrested for protesting. Like a whole just the most randomest mixture of people I've ever seen, from like young to old, every color, every race. Most everyone was like not from Minneapolis or Minnesota. I met most everyone from everywhere else in the United States. Met some people from England and from France. Like literally like foreigners came to like check out the chaos and see it.
Wait. You met people from England and France who got arrested and put in jail?
Yes, there's a guy from Jamaica. He was actually one of like the top draft picks in college basketball. But he came to visit his buddies here and check out all the excitement as well. And they convinced him to go into Payless Shoe Source to help him loot. And he's a super straight-laced kid. He's like, sure, I'll get some new shoes. And they get arrested, and he's sitting there like, man, I just came in to visit, I'm spending my days cooking in jail for no reason.
Like, where did the people, in terms of the ones who came from like out of state, right? Where did they say they were from? It like what made them come in the first place? Like, what did they say about the situation?
It was interesting because it felt like everyone I talked to from out of state, it was almost like they were on vacation, because they were like, yeah, I came here to see the excitement and the chaos, and they're like everyone I met out of state was like really friendly, and they're like just wanting to wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to be a part of like the excitement and all the adrenaline and like the rage and the anguish. They seemed like just like wanted to see that firsthand. It was very interesting.
Like, what are some examples of places they came from in the U.S.?
Missouri, France, not France, Florida, Missouri, a lot of the southern states, a lot of the East Coast states too, like the more populated ones. It's like big cities here, big cities there, Colorado, just kind of like more name brand areas you've actually heard of. Where like a lot of people that go there from Atlanta,
Right.
like people from like California, just kind of like West Coast populated areas. Everyone like would go to Minneapolis to go check out the excitement because it was so crazy. And honestly, I had no idea how wild it was until I was actually there because it looked like a literal war zone. You see burned out husks of buildings there, and people going through the rubble and like picking it up. And at the next building over, it's like a perfectly good building intact, currently being torched by some rioters, as people are cleaning up the rubble of the building next to it. And like it was insane. And then like you'd see like a fight sparked here, like on this intersection with like a bunch of people like trying to break it up. Then like on the edges of that, you have like volunteer EMTs and medics and like people who are trained in like safety and like health and whatnot, like bandaging people's feet, giving them stuff for smoke inhalation. They have carrying around jugs of milk for like getting tear gassed, and it's like a bunch of different health stuff just like make sure everyone's okay. Water.
Did the people in jail who you're talking to, they seem like they had a political motive, or was it just like sheer excitement and expression, you know?
It was definitely like everyone I met was just pure like for the sake of it, you know, like when in Rome, do as Romans do type shit. Like they saw it was like, well, we can do it and get away with it. But everyone I met who was like of any color, not white, they were like going to get some shoes or going like to get something out of it. They're like, well, this place is already looted. It's right next to my house. I'm gonna go get some free stuff too. Well, like most everyone I met who's like they were like stewing in there. Like it was mostly white guys. Like, yeah, I was burned this and I burned this and I burned this and I burned this. It was very, very interesting. It was just like the difference in like how everyone was. But it was like mostly it wasn't even very many people who were like yeah damage. It's more like fuck the police and what they stand for. I'm tired of the corruptness. And like everyone from everywhere was like banding together. Every single like they release people in groups. They have so many rioters and like arrested on the same day at the same time frame for release. They'd be let out in little groups. You have 20 people in like this tiny little long skinny cell, and there's like gang members from this city, from this area, doesn't matter. We're all like yeah, we're getting out, dude, woo, yeah, go get my haircut, go see my girlfriend. Like there was like no hostility, no beef. Even if like gangs who were like members who were known for having notorious beef with each other, they'd be like sitting next to her chatting about their girlfriend or about, you know, shoes or about what they do when they get out or how like the riots were. It was just like everyone had like one common reason for excitement, getting like released, and one common reason for being there, and that's like.
So even gang members who would historically have animosity, you would think, were like united.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to witness. And there's in our release cell we had one person who had a spider web tattoo on his elbow, and that usually means like racist, like pride, like it's a pretty common white prejudice like gang member sign.
Right.
And he was being shunned. Like they weren't like. People weren't like trying to cause a problem with him, but like he'd say some like dumb shit, and they'd be like, "Are you trying to get yourself like injured right now? You're like one of the only white guys in the cell with like a bunch of dark brothers. Like, do you really want to start this problem right now?" They weren't like attacking him, instigating him, but he'd say something smart, and they'd be like, "Really? Right. You know, there are plenty of reasons to like start a problem with this guy, but they were like, nah, like he's literally not worth it, whatever. Like you racist scum. Like keep your hate feelings towards yourself." You know, it was cool seeing him take a higher road, even though this guy was like honestly a piece of shit.
Right. And then once you get out of jail, like what do you do? What is your day like, or like how do you think about it now in retrospect? You know.
Honestly, like it was all worth it because I got to kind of experience history, and I got to see it all like in person, and it was like it got me thinking about like a lot about my life, because I went through all that craziness, and then I spent 5 days in jail, and I was like, okay, well, there's my exciting day exciting week for the year. I'm not, you know, I'm miss my girlfriend, miss my puppy, you know,
Right.
miss a couple days of work, but I was like, oh no. But no, like I walked out of jail with a state pants on that don't fit and like a loose button-up shirt, and it's like 90 degrees, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I walk out, and there's literally like a whole line for like 100 feet of just Hummers and the National Guard lining up to make a walkway like out of the jail, and like away from the jail, we got released. They all have guns, and like it's like their meeting point was like that jail area. And I'm walking out just out of jail, and this guy walks up and like, "Hey bro, you want a shot?" He just hands me a brand new bottle of like Wild Turkey whiskey, and I was like, "Oh man, it's good to be out." You know?
What did you think that like did you when you got out that the riots and the protests and everything had spread all over the country and even the world? Did you like follow that at all?
I did. I was actually like, I was kind of shocked that, but like not really, because I'm sure like police corruption isn't like just like based in the U.S. thing. It's everywhere, obviously. So like it's really cool to see like that there's outrage at other like police states like outside of this country, like other countries are also getting upset about that. Because honestly, that's that video of like George Floyd. That's one of the only like solid beginning to end like proof of police corruption. That's like literally, get off him, he's dying, he can't breathe, like he hasn't moved in 5 minutes. Like just a non-stop 10-minute video of like this man being murdered by police for whatever reasons, and like that's enough to cause outrage in anybody, you know, even not being there. And I actually found out the next day about like his death, and I was blown away. I was like, no shit, this literally happened like 10 miles from me. I was like, what? And
do you have like a court date now, or what's the situation with that?
There's like this. They gave me a court papers. Like they're like, here you're scheduled for this unknown date because of all the looters and rioters we have, but it'll be in sometime in like September or whatever. But they're dropping all these charges on like a lot of rioters for like low time stuff. They want to get like the big names. Like they have one guy arrested like supposedly for all of the 3rd precinct fires. Like he was main starter, like this one older white guy. I was like, okay, you know, that doesn't really make sense to me, honestly, because there was so many people there. It's like literally just groups of people breaking the wood frames off buildings next door, like the wooden window covers. Not to break them, but like to put that on the bonfire in the station and make it bigger.
So do you think like, your charges might get dropped?
I'm pretty sure they will, because like the only like on paper, because I was trespassing on the police property, but I was like told myself, yeah, I like took a nap in the basement, a little drunk, and I was ditched in Minneapolis. But like it's all like I didn't leave the building with anything. I didn't have there's no videos of me going around breaking anything and not doing anything. I was just kind of bystander. I was like, yeah, this is my name. I didn't try to run from him. I was like, yeah, I'm not a police officer. This is my name. I wasn't even supposed to go to jail. I was supposed to get released, like a ticket. But because I'm actually from Alaska and not from here, paperwork there's kind of mixed up sometimes. And they couldn't find my name in the system, so they thought I was lying about my name to them. I was gonna get released and walk away, but they thought I was lying, so I went to jail instead. Spent 5 days in the most boringest, miserable place ever.
And then, you know, once you got back to work, how did people react?
Oh, well, I mean, my boss was like I'd call him and let him know that I was in jail and I was gonna be not there for a couple days. I was telling him previously, like,
where do you work?
I work for concrete. I pour concrete for Jim Urban.
Right.
And I was like, hey, bro, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it work for a couple days because like went to jail. You know, I said I wasn't gonna be because I didn't plan to do anything crazy. Like, but I saw all this like messed up shit when I was walking into like the exciting area. And honestly, I was even more mad at Minneapolis police when I was in jail and when I was out, because I was like, we sat in this one room for 4 hours waiting to be released, and all I'm hearing is like people like trade stories about messed up things that Minneapolis city police have done to people, what they've witnessed. And there's so many unfair like murders and like beatings of people and like missing paperwork and like evidence put on them that wasn't there. Like there's, even if some like maybe like making the truth a little bit longer than it actually is, or like embellishing the story, like there's too many instances for this not to be accurate, of this like corrupt police doing messed up things just because they could. Right. Like there's two high school kids in jail, man. They're sitting there like next to like a gangbanger with like tats up to his neck and like a bunch of big beefy guys, and like these two just like skinny little like innocent looking high school kids sitting there like surrounded by like gangsters, and they were trying to leave their apartment because it was on fire and it was past curfew, so they're driving to his mom's house to crash for the night. and they get pulled over by police for being past curfew, and they get ripped out of their vehicles, thrown on the ground, cuffed and arrested, and their car gets parked on the side of the road right where they were driving, and they slash the tires and break the windows. And then I found out afterwards, like I hit him up because I wanted to hear their story afterwards. Actually, like their car was burned. So like his first ever car, he's still making payments on, and got like burned to a crisp. He's a high school kid.
That's crazy.
He showed me this huge road rash on his arm. His buddy had a bruise on the back of his head. Like they were like literally ripped out of these cars and thrown on the ground, like two like the most innocent kids you could imagine. You know, it was messed up. Like it was very, very. There's too much corruption. There's like I've seen like heard way too much about Minneapolis police like corruption, like just like messed up things that officers should not do or be able to do happening, and nothing being done about it.
So he's pretty isolated.
Any final thoughts?
Honestly, like, well, there were some things I wish I could have done better. You know, probably could have taken a cell phone charger with me because I probably would have never went to jail. But all in all, I'd probably say like the experience was definitely worth being there for because, like, honestly, I had no clue. Like, I'd seen stuff on news and I'd like seen like different like little videos and articles, but I didn't get to experience and see both sides of the rioting and the police and how they're being corrupt, and like just like the tension between them. Like I didn't get to see it in person until I went there, and like I literally was gonna go as an observer, and I got sucked into like the tension and the energy of the crowd, you know. And it's like literally like this crowd would go places and people like they just follow. Like this crowd was like one living being wherever it went. It's just like groups and groups of people just getting bigger and bigger and bigger everywhere it went.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
And what is your name?
My name's Matthew.
Good to meet you.
It's good to meet you too.